Okay, this is a good application of a quadratic. Basically, we are given the equation of that represents if you know what how many seconds have gone by, it will tell you the height of the rocket. So t represents the number of seconds that goes by, and then the output h is a function of the number of seconds. So for example, if you were to put a 0 in for t, we would find out that this rocket would be 248 feet above the ground. So the input is the number of seconds, t, and the output is how high the rocket will be. It wants to know when the rocket will splash down. So basically what we're looking for there is when the height of the rocket will be 0. So we're looking for the 0 of the function. Then we also want to know how high will the rocket be. Well, that's going to be the maximum point of the rocket. The maximum or the maximum of the function, I guess. So first thing I would do is I would plug this into my calculator. So I'm going to type in negative 4.9. Now instead of t, I have to use x, so I'm going to use x squared plus 355t, and again I'm using x, plus 248. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and hit graph, and I'm going to have a problem here because when I graph it, whoops, I get a syntax error there. Why am I getting a syntax error? Oh, I used a subtract rather than a negative there, so I need that negative, not a subtract. Now let me try to graph. Okay, it likes it, but all I'm getting is a vertical line there, and the reason for that is because I don't have my windows set up properly. So one thing you can do is actually look at your table. So before I go to my table, I just want to go to table setup, and I want to start my number of seconds at 0 seconds, and I want to go in increments of 1 second. I'll leave these other two set to ask, and now I'll look at my table, and this will give me a really good idea what's happening here. Sure enough, at 0 seconds it says it's 248 meters off the ground, so it looks like it's being shot from a hill. As I move down, I can see that after so many seconds it tells me how high the rocket's getting. So I can almost answer these questions just by looking at the table. It wants to know how high is the rocket going to get. Well, as I keep clicking here, it's still getting higher. It's up to 5,000 feet, meters I guess it is. 6,000, see how high it gets. So after about 30 seconds it's up to 6,500 feet, 6,600 feet, 6677, and now if you look, it looks like the rocket is starting to come back down again. So that's going to become important when I set up my window. So after about 30 some seconds, it looks like the rocket is headed back down again. So these numbers start getting smaller. So if I go up to about twice as many seconds, somewhere up around 70, I should see that the rocket's going to hit the ground. And of course, if you keep going, it's going to show negative values, below value. So it looks like at about 73 seconds. I'm just going to type in an approximation over here. It looks like at about 73 seconds. And how high the rocket, it looks like it was about, what was it, about 6,700 feet or so. Now I want to get more exact answers, and I'll go ahead and do that. But now this will help me set up my window for graphing it. So I know that the number of seconds, it can't go below 0, but if I want to see kind of to the left of the y-axis, I could go negative 10 seconds, I suppose. And it was about at 73 seconds, so I'll go up to 90 seconds. I'm going to go past that a little bit. The height of the rocket, well, it's not really going to get below ground level, but I kind of want to see below the x-axis, so I'm going to say let's go down 1,000 below. It got up to about 6,700 feet. I'm going to go up to about, oh, what the heck, 9,000. You can always adjust these after you graph it again. Now when I graph, there it is. I can see the rocket. So really the two values I'm looking for is the maximum point of the rocket, and I want to know the height, not how many seconds. I want to know how high that is, and I also want to know what this 0 is over here. So I'm going to use my calculate feature in my calculator, but I just wanted to show you quickly, you could do this by hand. If you do the whole quadratic formula, that gives you the two zeros. And I went ahead and did it. You can just verify my work. And I found out the two answers were negative 0.69 seconds. Well, that's the value off to the left here that doesn't really make any sense. The one that I'm really interested in is 73.141. And sure enough, that's about what I got when I was looking at the table, about 73. And then if I wanted to find the vertex, I could take the bean part of the quadratic formula, and that would give me the 30-some seconds. And then I would plug that into the main equation, and that would give me my y value output. That would give me the 6,700 or so. So I could do it by hand. I'm going to use my calculate feature. So let's calculate the vertex first. So I'll go second, calculate, and I'm looking for the maximum. So I'll go down to number 4 on my calculator. It says move the cursor to the left of the maximum, and then I press the enter key. Move it to the right of the maximum, press my enter key, and then when it says guess, I'll put it right on the maximum or as close as possible, hit enter. Sure enough, it says at about 36 seconds, 36.22, the rocket is 66.778469 meters. So I want to get this to a few decimals, so what I would do is type into wall map 6677.847 should do it. The reason they want you to have so many decimals there is they really want to make sure that you've used your calculator and your calculate feature or done it by hand to get some accuracy. You just didn't pick it off the table. If you picked it off the table, you're going to get the wrong value because the table is set up in increments of 1 second. Now let's get where the rocket splashes down. So I'll use my calculate feature again. Again, it's right above the trace, so I have to go second trace. And I'm looking for the 0. Again, there are 2 zeros here, but I'm interested in this one over here. So left boundary, I have to be to the left of it somewhere, and anywhere in here would be fine. To the right of it, I actually have to move below the graph a little bit. That's why it's good when you set up your window to have it go down below a little bit so you don't lose the cursor. I actually lost it there, but I know I'm below it, so I'll press enter. And then if I get right on top of there and press enter, sure enough, it says 73.141. So again, for accuracy, I would type in 73.141 seconds is where it's going to splash down. And again, that's pretty darn close to where I was guessing when I did it with my table. So there you go. I hope